What's going on, people? So this is gonna be a very raw video. I've been getting a lot of inboxes about Super Ego Holding, Rocket Transport, Cordon. I mean, they do got a lot of names, but it's all under one umbrella. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs, my experience, all of that. So today is, what's today? 12/1. So today is December 1st, 2021. My first week, I started with them. I think I went to orientation November 1st. Actually, I did. I'm looking over on my computer. I'm gonna show y'all my statement in a minute. But I went to orientation November 1st. Okay, that was a Monday. Orientation. Okay, so when you get there, it's really, I don't even consider it a normal orientation, because the orientation is structured, it's organized, there's things in place, there's people in place that tell you, okay, go over here or sit here, we'll have a meeting, blah blah blah, goes over some paperwork, whatever the case may be. Orientation of Super Ego is really a joke. I mean, basically you go in to the break room and you talk to a guy in the office. He asks you what kind of truck you want. I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, if you're doing no money down, they're gonna try and put you in the international. Here's a little tip, right? For me, if I'm paying for something out of my paycheck every week, I'm going to drive what I am paying for, what I want to drive. I didn't want an international. This is just my only preference. I drove internationals before. The ride is definitely not as good as a KW, and it definitely is not good as a Pete. And those are pretty much your only other two options, a KW or a Pete. Now, the Petes are very limited. If you want to see a picture of mine, just DM me and I'll shoot you a picture. I'm not going to try and edit it into the video, because that'd be doing way too much. Excuse me, this is just strictly information for those being inboxed me. I don't care how long this video is, as long as you get the information. If you want the information, just continue to watch the video. So orientation is pretty much a joke. You have to use patience. When I walked in, a girl, I asked her, where do I go? Who do I talk to? She pretty much ignored me, like I wasn't even standing there. I don't know how y'all feel about, Russians or Ukrainians or whatever they are. A lot of them can be kind of rude, and then there's a language barrier. But you just got to be patient. So right off the back, I was, initially I was kind of turned off. I was like, what am I doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And prior to even getting to orientation, I did exactly what y'all doing. A lot of research, looking online. And of course, there's a lot, there's more negative reviews about Super Ego than there are positive. And here's why. My opinion. Everything that I'm giving you is raw, my opinion, from a driver that has been there for now a month. And I'm happy. I'm good. I'm not going nowhere. Let me just start off by saying that with all the negative or stuff that I might say that is off the cuff, it don't matter to me. Pay me, right? As long as you paying me, I'm good. So I can deal with all the other stuff, because number one, the whole, which I seen another video, somebody talking about, the way they talk to you, blah blah blah. Talk to them the same way. They need you to make money so that they can make money. So they need you as bad as you pretty much need a job, but they need you more than you need them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were there to make the money. That 12% that they're taking off top, that goes in their bank account. Everything else you're paying for pretty much to rent their equipment. So don't let them talk to you crazy. Stand your ground. You know what I'm saying? Be a business owner. This is a business. When you come into doing a lease purchase, you cannot come into this business thinking like a company driver. You just can't. You can't wait till Friday. I know I'm all over the place, but I'll get back to orientation. You can't wait to Friday to want to fill your truck up with $700 worth of fuel, and you're not going to take another load out to Monday. That makes no sense at all. Like, so you have to have a business mindset when it comes to leasing a truck. You got to think like a business owner. Why would I fill my truck up on Friday if I'm not running on the weekend, right? Everything from Monday morning, midnight, from Sunday at 11:59 is all on 1 week, right? So why would you go and spend that much money on fuel on a Friday? It just doesn't make sense. So you got to think business. So you can't let them talk to you any kind of way because this is your business. You can't let them give you any kind of equipment because this is your business. So back to orientation. Okay, so I get there, and it's a rat race trying to run around, talk who to talk to, what to go here, what to go. I'm not going to break down that whole aspect of it, but I will break down the costs and the things that I spent money on during orientation. Now, what I spent money on is going to be a whole lot less than what some of y'all are going to spend money on, because a lot of you all are coming from out of town, and you'll need transportation, you need hotels, you need food, all that. I didn't need none of that. I flew in from Memphis to Chicago. I have family in Chicago. My mother lives in Chicago. My ex-wife lives in Chicago. So I have family there. My daughter lives there with my ex-wife. So I had a car, right? I used my daughter's car, the car I co-signed on. So I used her car to get around while I was there. I stayed at my mother's house. I ate their food. I didn't have to eat out. So I didn't need food, I didn't need hotel, and I didn't need transportation. You all will need those three things. Now, to get back and forth from like the drug test place and the Super Eagle office, and from the Super Eagle office over to the yard where they fix the trucks at and stuff like that, there is somebody there that runs guys back and forth. But they always tell you, bring Uber money. Now, when I did land in Midway, the recruiter did actually text me, like, ask me, did I land, blah, blah, blah. Okay, call the yard guy, they'll send me an Uber. So they did offer to send me an Uber to pick me up from the airport, but I didn't need it. My daughter came and picked me up. But some of that stuff, like, you would need. Make sure that you get that stuff straight before you come. But the money that I spent on orientation or that first week, this is stuff that you will need. You will need $80 for a drug test. Now, with the drug test, the place, because of COVID, does not let you sit inside there and wait. So it's cold, right? It's December. Now it's December in Chicago. When I went, it was November, and it was still cold. But like I said, I was sitting in the car, so I didn't mind. But there is a McDonald's right next door. Just go in there, buy your cheeseburger, sit in there, eat your cheeseburger, drink a Coke, and wait for them to call you for your drug test. Walk right over and get your drug test. Don't stand outside. It was like a line of guys standing outside, guys and women standing outside in the cold waiting to get their drug test. That is ridiculous to me. Now, they did just open up another facility right in the same parking lot as this drug test place. I don't know if they're going to be using them or not, but that's another thing to keep in mind. Dress warm, because you'll be standing outside unless you're going to McDonald's for the drug test. So $80 for the drug test. I knew as a business owner, when I picked up my first load, that I was going to need some kind of equipment. And I didn't get back home, right, because I live in Memphis, to get all my stuff, and I definitely wasn't gonna bring all this stuff on the airplane, on the plane. So I went right around the corner. There's a Fleet Pride from the office there, and I went and got 4 straps, right, ratchet straps, a strap on the side of the trailer to tie down the load, and I brought 2 load bars. Now the straps were, how much were they? $43.20 for 4. So I spent $43.20 for 4 straps, and I also bought a phone charger, a phone mount, a push broom to clean out my trailer. I brought a $29 tool set from Menards to keep in the truck, and I brought, you know, the 2 load bars were $43.20. I brought those also from Fleet Pride. And I needed them too when I picked up my first load, because my first load came out of Chicago was Pepsi, going from Chicago to Collierville, Tennessee, which is pretty much Memphis, so I can go back home, get all my stuff put in the truck. Now, how long does orientation take? Took me 4 days, from the Monday to Thursday, from getting the truck, finding stuff that needed to be fixed on the truck, spending all day at the shop getting stuff fixed when I could have got stuff fixed at the shop and then caught a ride back to the office and then more paperwork. I don't know why I sat there and waited all day. But if your truck is in the shop, don't wait there sitting, you know what I'm saying, walking around the yard when there's stuff you can be doing at the office. Drop your truck off, get a ride back to the office, get the paperwork done. When they call you, take your truck done, get a ride back over there and pick up your truck. Don't just sit there and wait. That was stupid. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, from the time to, get the truck, piss test, it probably takes a day and a half to get your drug test back. Trailer, get your trailer. Like, now if you got problems with your trailer, like your trailer need tires or something, then you know you got to go take that trailer back to the shop. They got to change the tires, or if it got airlines hanging, whatever problems you have, get that stuff fixed before you leave that yard, before you leave on your first load. Because if you leave that yard and something break down in your truck, that's coming out of your pocket. Number one. Something break down on the trailer, that's coming out of your pocket. Number two, right? And mind you, a lot of y'all are coming here fresh with no money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So you want to keep your costs to a minimum. Okay. Now, when I came up, I had, I don't know, probably $1,000 saved, and that was for my expenses and to carry me over, you know what I'm saying, for the next 3 weeks that I was going to be out here on the road without a paycheck. Now, why 3 weeks without a paycheck? It doesn't make sense to me. If they're offering to put no money down, wait 3 weeks to get paid, why would you hand somebody $3,000 just to get your check in 2 weeks when you can wait an extra week and get it for no money down? That don't make no sense to me. Why would I hand you $3,000 of down payment so that I can work this week, get paid the next week, right? Okay, fine. Okay, I work this week, get paid the next week. That's 2 weeks. But instead of being 3 weeks in arrear, I'm going to hand you $3,000? No, I'll just wait the following week, which is the 3rd week, to get my check that I worked this week instead of handing you $3,000. That $3,000 can go to my bills at the house, right, while I'm waiting on this, you know, on my first check. That's what happened to me. I started November. Now I'm going to talk to some money right here. I started and I got my statement pulled up so I can show y'all. Now, mind you, when I started the business, I said I want to stay at least between $230, $250 per mile. Not going to happen. Not in the wintertime. Not right now. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe 1 or 2 times. But I've been around the $2, $2.15 range per mile. I don't care, really. This is me. Don't judge me. Judge your mama. But this is me. This is how I run my business. If I'm making $1,000 a day and I'm working 7 days a week, because I try to run 7 days a week, and then the following week work 5 and then go home for 2. That's me. That's how I roll. You run your business how you want to run your business. So if I'm running 7 days a week and I make $1,000 a day, that's $7,000, right? So, but my first week I ran 4 loads. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Got my laptop right here. I'm gonna take my camera. shoot, I don't even know if I can flip it while it's live. But, I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to show you as best as I can and get in here. So the first week, you can see the loads there. And then you can see what they paid. Then you can see, I'll back out so y'all can take a screenshot or whatever you need to do. Okay. So those are my loads, those are my deductions, and then that was my my net down there. So in all, I'll break it down for you. In all, it was 4 loads. The gross was, the first load was going from Chicago to Collierville. That paid $1,200. The second load was from Memphis, which is still Collierville, to Harrisonville, Missouri. That paid $880. Well, it paid $1,000, but my take was $880 because of the 12%. Then I went from Euphoria, Kansas to McDonough, Georgia. It's a lot of deadheading too. Let me just say that. It's a lot of deadheading and a lot of night driving. I'll explain that in a minute. But from McDonough, Georgia to Macon, Georgia to Emporia, Pennsylvania. All in all, first week, I did okay. First week I did, I think the truck grossed $58.50, and then out of that $58.50, once you minus the 12% that Super Ego takes for they take, the truck made $51.48. Now my deduction, since I got a 2018 Peterbilt, my truck note was only $600. They only charged me for the cargo insurance, which is $250, and then the trailer rental was $225. Permits was $30. So all my deductions was from them was $1,105. Now at the bottom was my fuel costs. I spent $1,576.83 on fuel. So once you do the minus the deductions and minus the fuel, my net for that first week was $2,466.17. Now mind you, my first week started, I guess this is the ending date. No, this is the load date. So my first load was the 8th, because remember my orientation was the 1st. Now here's another tip, and I heard this dude Alfredo Manning say when I watched his video about starting midweek or waiting or whatever the case may be. Since I didn't get all my paperwork done until Thursday, I didn't want to start that late in the week. Here's why. Because if I would have ran from Chicago to Collierville on Thursday, right, and only ran, let's just say, another load, because that's Thursday, Friday when it delivered, and then let's say if I picked up another load Friday evening, this Memphis one here going to Harrisburg, this is hypothetical, of course, that's only another $1,000, so that's $2,200. Now with my deductions, that's already $1,000 gone. So that first load from Chicago to Memphis would have been free, pretty much, because I wouldn't have seen that money. And then I would have had to put fuel in the truck. So now I got to minus the fuel also. So by me starting midweek or late in the week, taking those 2 loads, because by that time it's Saturday, Sunday, I only probably would have took home maybe a couple $100, $300-400. I'm not doing that. I'm not working anything for no $200-300, right? So that's just me. Now, if that's good for you, that's good for you. But I have family there. I didn't mind waiting. I prepared before I got there. I saved money. I didn't care about waiting. I wasn't spending money on the hotel. This is just my experience, or yours is different. And you don't have to spend money on a hotel once you get your truck. You can go to Walmart, buy you some bedding, and sleep in your truck since you're gonna be sleeping anyway. I'll walk you around my truck too in a minute too. I'll add all of that in the video. I'll walk you around the inside at least. Then if you want to see the outside, you can just shoot me a DM or whatever. But I went and if you want to sleep in your truck, go to Walmart, get some sheets and stuff, and then sleep in your truck instead of paying for a hotel. You can do that day one once you get your keys, unless your truck is in the shop, of course. But I didn't start midweek because of that very purpose. Like, I'm not gonna run all 2 runs and still, because the moment that you take your first run, those payments are gonna be due, are coming out your check, right? So that $1,000 is gonna come out your check. So I said I'm gonna wait until Monday to run my first load. Exactly what I did. I got a trailer hooked up, everything, truck set from from Thursday up until the following Monday, which was the 8th. And I didn't have to pay for anything because I didn't take a load. You see what I'm saying? I didn't take a load on the week that I finished my orientation. I waited till the following Monday. That way I can have Monday through Sunday to run as many loads as I can. I ended up with 4 because I went home and I sat at home Tuesday. When I got back, put everything in the truck and just chilled. So I left Monday, got to Memphis, delivered in Memphis Tuesday morning. I went to the crib Tuesday afternoon, and then I didn't pick up my next load until Wednesday morning. And so the reason why I did that, so I can have a full check when I got paid on the 26th. That was my first paycheck. So from the 8th to the 26th, which is really not a long time, guys, that was when I got my first check, which was a $2,400 check for 4 loads. So, and that's decent. And that was my first week, even with doing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how much y'all making now, but $2,400 on the first check. Now, my second week, I killed them. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I killed them. It took me 9 days to do it. I'm not going to break it down to you, but it was still all in a 7-day work week, because any load that you pick up between Monday and Sunday is all on the week, the same week. So that week I grossed $8,100. On my second week, I grossed $8,100. Now, last week was Thanksgiving week. I don't know, I probably grossed $4,000 maybe, and I was only pulling 2 loads because my birthday was actually on the 26th. So I only pulled 2 loads the holiday week of Thanksgiving. So even with that, I should still take home $1,500, $1,700. And so, yeah, so the money is there. So y'all worried about money and I'm stealing money, bro. Look, I'm telling y'all, the money is there, and the statements and the rate cons. Okay, now let me get into some of these questions real quick, because this video is already 23 minutes. I really don't care. If you want the information, you'll stick around and get it, how long the video is. So how do they dispatch? That was one of the questions that came up. It's no forced dispatch. They do not force dispatch. Like, if your dispatcher call you and say, hey, I got a load going from A to B, how much it's paying, and you don't like it, you can turn it down. You know what I'm saying? But catch this. It has been times when my dispatcher called me, offered me a load, because he always calls and offers me before he book it. Calls and offer me a load. By the time I text him and respond back, that load is gone. They get their loads off of the load boards that every other carrier is looking at. So you can mess around and say, oh, no, I'm not going to take a load because it's paying $2.12 a mile and I want $2.14 or better. I mean, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. So you're going to sit there and wait and miss out on loads. Now you got to, once you finally find one, you got to go pick it up late. Then you got to drive all night to get it to the destination, right? That brings me back to my another point. This is still about dispatching. How do they dispatch? A lot of night driving. I got these lights off Amazon So those, if y'all looking, you know what I'm saying, the one of my life, they change color. It'd be like a little disco here at night, and you gotta have it to stay woke. That's why I put them in here. You don't gotta have them to stay woke. I mean, you do what you want to do to stay woke, but it's a lot of night driving, and the reason being is because this is how I run. That's why I say I can make the money. Like, my first week was trial and error pretty much. You see, my second week I killed them. $8,100. That's a decent gross week. So out of that 8,100, y'all can hit me up after you watch this video. What's Friday's date? What's today? The second. Friday, Thursday would be the 3rd, the 4th. So the paycheck from the 4th, y'all hit me up after the 4th. Ask me how much that $8,100 gross was. Ask me what my net was, and I'll tell you. But $8,100 on my second week gross. Is pretty good. I did it in 6 days because the load I took a load to Texas, and then I picked up a load that Sunday out of Texas going back east to Georgia, South Carolina, something like that. I don't know, but either way, and those 2 loads. Now, if I'm doing a 2-day load, I'm not taking no less than $2,000 because my mindset is to make $1,000 a day. I'm not too stuck on the miles per gallon. I mean, miles per gallon. The whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. The rate, the miles per the however much you get paid per mile. I'm not really stuck on that. I like to stay around the $2 range because I kind of can gauge kind of like if they trying to lowball me or not. But I'm stuck on the daily number. If I can put $1,000 to the truck a day, I'm doing decent because I know I'm going to run 5, you know what I'm saying, to 7 days that week. So that'd be a decent check for me, you know, plus I know how to manage my fuel. Now, there are ways to save on fuel. You can get your LLC, you can get your fuel card, so you don't have to fuel at all these pilots and flying J's. The fuel prices are ridiculous, $3.70 plus. It was cheaper in Texas, but get you a fuel card under your LLC. That way you can fuel at your own mom and pops. It's coming out your check anyway. Once you so the less fuel that you pay on their card, you won't even see that on your statement. So when you get your 1099 check, you just go back and pay your own. I ain't gotta tell y'all how to run the business. You know how to pay your own bills. But dispatch is no force dispatch. If you want to mess around and be picky over a cent or 2 per mile, that's you. I don't run my business like that. Do they send the rate confirmation? Yeah, they send a rate confirmation. How legit it is, I don't know, but some of them look legit, but you can always type in the stuff and change it. If they take off top, I don't care as long as the numbers matter to me. This is me. Like I said, run your business how you want to run it. Do they have good trucks? Yeah, I mean, they have good trucks because anything that's wrong with it, you can get it fixed. Like you said, you driving anywhere from a 2018 up to a 2021, you know what I'm saying? And 22, if you want to put down 10 grand, you get a brand new truck off the showroom floor if you want to put down some money. So the equipment is good. My trailer is like a brand new trailer. I picked it up from the Brandon company where they were putting the brand new stickers on it. So I can't complain about the equipment. It's good. Payments good. I'm not complaining about my statement at all because it was actually the way that I had calculated was more than what I had calculated as far as deductions. So payments, I'm good with. The money's good. I already went over the pay every 3 weeks and why 0 down, and then I already went over the average mile rate is around $2. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else, man, y'all just hit me up. I guess I can show you my truck the best way I can without being able to flip the